Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to From the Depths with me, Lathrix, and of course, welcome for the very first time to the brand new season of Ashes of the Empire. Now, this is a game mode I played a very long time ago and absolutely loved, but simply never finished. It's the ground campaign of From the Depths, which has a very strict volume limit of only 2,000, which is incredibly low, but does make you build in very different ways, at least different ways than I'm normally used to. I'm definitely better at building larger craft than I am at building smaller craft, so it is certainly a good experience. A lot of people did suggest I go ahead and use a mod to remove the volume limit, but since the enemies are still going to be so small, and I do want to finish this vanilla, we are going to be leaving it as it is. So, a brand new game. Here we are, new campaign, and you can read that if you like, I've read it before. Okay, let's have a read of it. I did just change my mind. So this happened 10 years before the Quest for Nita main campaign. This is the Great Civil War, in which the Empire was torn apart into the fighting factions we know and love from the main campaign. Ash, drifting, fluttering, driven by the wind. The ashes fall, the ashes drift, uncertain of their final resting place. This is the fate of the Empire, torn apart in the fire of civil war, burned and turned to ash. Where will the winds of fate blow it? Where will it land? The betrayal of the White Flayers was the spark that lit the fires, and nothing could stop it. The Steel Empire has fractured. The Flayed Ones and the 13 Sages, now known as the Lightning Hoods, on one side, and the Shadow of the Empire, now known as the Steel Striders, backed up by their artificial friends, the Twin Guardians, Twin Guardians, on the other. The Onyx Watch, preferring a stance of independence, refuses to stand with anyone, and is holed up in their fortresses, ready to crush anyone who comes near their lands. And the infernal Dustwind Gypsies, pushing outside of their territories, are raiding and ambushing anywhere they see opportunity, feasting on the dying remains of the Empire. Really lovely chaps. Now a new wind blows. Ashes swirl, ashes fall. Where will you drive? The Ashes of the Empire. Look, it's the name. So that's pretty much that. The main enemy I remember being really scared of in this campaign is actually the Twin Guard and the White Flyers. The Steel Striders didn't give me too much trouble, but early on we are going to be harassed a lot. And I have a plan for that. Either way, let's customize. We're going to be with custom, and difficulty modifier, we're going to be keeping that as normal because I do not like moving this slider. It's the only slide I never go away from simply ×1. I always find weapons act weirdly if you go below or above. Enemy growth factor, maximum. We want swarms of enemies to feast upon. And resource given by destroying enemies, we will minimize that because that can get really out of hand really quickly. I don't like it being 0, makes little sense to me, but at the same time, I don't want it particularly high. Now, select whether you want to use localized material or not. We are going to be using localized. That is, as you can see, much more difficult, as you can see by the experience game modifier. But I think it's going to be a bit more fun in this particular campaign. Now, as for my usual honor rules, during this campaign, the main 2 rules I have is A, do not capture a vehicle unless it's already crippled and simply cannot win a fight. This prevents me from having half of the video with me just jumping around trying to capture vehicles, and also, capturing can be very overpowered, especially early on. Your character can really wreak some havoc, since the enemy can't actually target you specifically. It's not really the best. The other honor rule is I am going to try and minimize or flat out not use rapid fire advanced cannons with medium gauge. That's between 100 and 333 millimeters, because they just outright wreck this campaign, and also lasers. If I can avoid using those to the best of my ability, I will be very happy. We will still be using minigun style advanced cannons, but either very large ones which take up the entire vehicle, or very, very small ones like on the turrets we will be using very early on, which we made recently in the sandbox mode. And thankfully, with the whole missile nerf, or at least everything changing and missiles being less meta, not specifically a missile nerf, but the game changing so they're not as great as they used to be, I don't mind using them more. They were also really a little bit too good in the old version of this. Anyway, begin the brand new campaign. So let's pause time and take a look-see what we have. Okay, the main building looks very similar to what we used to have. We have a little turret here? Did we always have that? I can't remember. The car's changed a little bit, I think, though I might be wrong there, but the tent is still there, being honestly a little bit creepy. So, I have a plan. And the plan is, we're actually going to go ahead... Oh, that looks really cool. We're going to go ahead and set down a wall of turrets near where we currently are. Oh yeah, I forgot we have 3 positions to try and secure. Let's unpause. There we go. So each of these... Oh, 1 second, let's read this. You are a humble junk trader, isolated on your land amidst your collection of broken down cars and refurbished military vehicles. In times of peace, your centralized location meant great profit as people from the Empire Nation came to buy scrap from you. Now your locations just means you're in the way, essentially. With the volume limit, yep, it's 2,000, and we have this. You will start at peace with all factions, but after 1 hour, the Dustwind Gypsies will declare war on you, and there is a chance of each other faction also declaring war on you. There is no diplomacy bribing in this campaign. Okay, so, what I was going to say is, we're going to be pretty much leaving the Dustwind Gypsies alive, which sounds weird, but the idea is, as we make better vehicles, as we get more money, we can put down more static defenses and then just obliterate them as they head towards us, and so they simply feed us scrap. That's the idea, so we can then focus on whichever other faction happens to declare war on us. How do I... That's what I wanted to look at. Okay, so they're the enemies we need to kill, that's fine. The par time apparently is 1 minute. Something tells me that's a little bit broken. Either way, though, I want to just check this in terms of relationships. So, these are the lovely enemies we're going to have to deal with. Okay. I wonder who's going to attack us first, other than the Dustwind Gypsies. I really don't know. So then, let's get this started. Let's see what we can actually scrap then. So we have the tent. As much as all of these do look cool, I would very much like their resources. And I'm sorry, Dauntless, you looked cool, but you're going away as well. Same with you. Actually, that turret over there, the mortar, is it called? Which apparently is a fly... Wait, you're not a vehicle? I mean, you're not a building? You're an actual vehicle? Yo, yes you are. Okay. Oh, heavy armor. Expensive. For some reason I couldn't follow that shell then. Normally you can. Try again. Whoa, that's got a long reload time. Yeah, for some reason it's not working. I simply can't follow the shots. That is really, really weird. Okay, then let's have a look manually, then what your shots actually are. Just want to see if this is worth keeping, or is it worth scrapping and putting down some of our small turrets we've designed in the past. Where is your ammo? There it is, hello. Oh, is that it? 500, you've only got a single time fuse and warhead body, which now, by the way, can be swapped out for the high explosive head, which is just better. I mean, you're not weak, but you're not going to be very good versus the swarms which are heading our way. We've got 1 hour to prepare. Although I am tempted just to declare war. You know what? We're going to just declare war, because this will be boring otherwise. So, yep, declare war. I do not like you very much. I'm even going to insult you once. You smell of sand. Yeah, take that. Now they're upset. Okay, you're going to be removed. So the enemy are going to be coming from down here. However, before, they did attack here first, if I recall correctly. So we need to be a bit careful with that. In fact, I'm not even going to make turrets first. The first thing we're going to make is one of our faster units, something like the Sand Skimmer. In fact, that's exactly what we're going to put down first, because it's cheap, it has light weaponry, and it's good versus swarms. Okay, so here's something a little bit odd. This is actually one of the versions of the Skimmer which never saw the light of day, and you may be wondering, why am I using this over the finished version, the one which worked actually better? And it's quite simple. This is far cheaper, this is a full 2,500 less, and it has a bit more armor on the front, but actually seeing this has made me think something. We could have a wood armor only campaign, go for a full orky theme, full on scavengers of the wasteland, and honestly, I really like that. The problem is, I don't have any vehicles like that already ready to go. Other than the cornflake, which, well, that's not exactly cheap in regards to this campaign. So, should I try and make a vehicle before the enemy get to me? Well, this is gonna have to be really, really, really quick then. Okay, let's see if we can actually do this. If we can do this, I'll be proud of myself. Let's go with aerial AI. We're going to try and make a tiny, tiny little helicopter. That's gonna be the plan, at least for the very, very first design. Where are you? Okay, just put that down there like that for a second. Let's try not use metal armor. I think if we do have a wooden-only campaign, in quotation marks, I think we should still use a little bit of metal, just not that much. Otherwise, the builds will lack a bit of definition. It's more for looks than for anything else. How big do I want it? Honestly, probably not much bigger than this. Then have the bulk of the armor here, have missile pods maybe, similar to the cornflake honestly, but just on a much smaller scale. Okay, center of mass, I will put down the rotor blade, the main rotor blade at the end, and we probably want a very, very, very basic PID system just to make things easier, so it acts more like a helicopter and less like a plane. Quickly, Lathrix is remembering that he's very bad at speed building, and honestly, anytime he tries to build something quickly, it ends up being an absolute hideous mess. So, we're going to go down the route of things I've actually built before, at least heavy inspiration of them, because I have no idea how long it's going to be until we're attacked, and right now we have nothing to defend ourselves. So we're going to go with a dual rotor build, so one rotor over here, one rotor over here, and actually a triple rotor build. We're going to have a very small one here as well, similar to the cornflake, which will act as a stabilizer, an extra stabilizer, which is what keeps the cornflake airborne when one of the two rotor blades is knocked out and still able to turn and such. So that would be pretty good, I do say so. So, all good, as you can probably tell, I'm a bit rushed now. Put there for a second. This is going to be hideous. I'm sorry for anyone who's offended by how bad this is going to look, because it's going to be an absolute mess. But hopefully an absolute mess that can at least hold its own for 5 seconds. That's really it. Can it stay in the air for a little while? If yes, then you're doing it right, lad. Sure, I have no idea what I'm doing here. At this point, it looks like I'm trying to make a drone. So you know what? We're gonna make a drone. That's what we're making. It's no longer a helicopter, because I don't know. It's going to have 4 sets of 2 rotor blades, weaponized in the middle. This will also help to defend its core really, really heavily, which is nice. Right now, it has almost no functional components, no engine or anything. I'm just trying to figure out what I actually want to build right now, because I haven't got a clue. Okay, let's see, if I do that there instead, that'll make this a little bit easier, I suppose. Okay, continuing on. Not sure if I'm going to do a time-lapse or not with this. If the footage is stable enough, you've probably just seen a bit of a time-lapse with this bit over the top of it. If it's not stable enough, which I really, really expect it not to be, then you've just seen clips. Honestly, time-lapses only work if you're kind of aware that you're going to make one, so you can do certain movements and not like this all the time, because that just looks terrible when it's sped up. Huzzah for the power of copy and paste. Okay, so that's that bit done. What's the cost right now? 778. The volume is 193, which is absolutely tiny. It looks bigger than it is just because we're surrounded by very, very small components, and the center is currently hollow, which is where the engine's about to go. So what type of engine would we like? Honestly, it sounds silly, but because the RTG cost has been nerfed heavily, I'm tempted to just go with RTG, single battery, single electric engine. That will probably be enough, since most of these blades will be on a very, very small power level, because honestly, this is going to be a very, very light craft. This way, we're not constantly burning through fuel, and honestly, a full fuel engine wouldn't be the cheapest thing in the world either. This would also be far smaller, which is definitely a very, very large benefit. Now, here's the question, 1 or 2 RTGs? If we do 2, it means we can have some redundancy and more batteries and more battery power, and then we could be quicker. Considering, I still think RTGs, is this really a good option? I don't think it is, but ooh, we could put them like here as well. Like that, and that actually looks really nice. Ups the cost though, look at that, the cost has just jumped so much. Then we can put a couple of batteries. We could actually put those here, but that would be really vulnerable, but saying that the ammo is going in the center, so put those there, then 2 electric engines. which can just be hidden in the wooden armor here. I also kind of just like the idea of the drone being electric powered. It just seems right. Then do the same here as well. Once again, knock that out, put down the electric engine. Should have mirrored correctly, that would have been great. That's 320 engine power. That is way more than we're ever going to need for this craft, which is good, because it means we could have a very weak shield. Fine, we'll go with this for now, but I'm saying it right now, this is not the right way to go for anyone trying to copy the design. Just make a small fuel engine. Bit of an odd question for a drone, but aerial AI versus land AI. Since we're most likely going to be using very small missile pods on this thing, I think land AI might be a little bit better. Just constantly circling the enemy in a far more uniform manner would be pretty good. It also means we can go very heavily into PID systems, which don't impact land as much as they do the aerial stuff. The problem is it'll be a lot more difficult to do attack runs. Essentially, all we can do is go to the target and then sit on top of them, whereas the aerial can constantly go over them and then past and over them again, which really messes with cannon controls. Okay, we're going to go with what I know the most, so we are going to go with land. Now, thankfully, since we're using missiles, we don't even need to bother with the detection systems, because missiles can be blind-fired, which is great, and that's all we need to have, so that will cut down on the cost quite heavily. Don't worry, though, the next build I have will use other weapons. This is just for a very early boost to ourselves, and let's just add a transmitter here. Armor that up as much as possible with the wooden armor, still pretty cheap. Here's a question, where are we going to put the ammo? We could put it... This sounds weird, but we could... Actually, no, it sounds great. What we're going to do is we're going to hang some chains off several parts of this and literally hang the ammo underneath the drone. That way, when it explodes, it won't hurt the drone itself, and it also provides a target for the enemy, which is nowhere near the mainframe. Ammo, far less vulnerable than mainframe, which is great. Oh, dear. I'm surprised the enemy haven't attacked us yet. We've declared war, and we're on ×2... reinforcement speed. What on earth am I doing? I've gone down such a weird route with this craft, and it's too late to go back. What the hell is this? Is that cool, or is that just odd? Sometimes the line between those two things can be very, very vague, so yeah, that ammo is going to blow up straight away. A bit of a weird test, but let's see if we can get it to detonate by crashing. No, we can't. I just want to see if it will have any kind of chain reaction or hurt those blades. So we are going to have to waste a bit of resource here for a bit of testing. No. Just about okay. Okay, that's fine. So, we're going to lose the ammo straight away from pretty much anything, but at least it won't hurt the center, because I've built the center too small for everything, which is fine. So all I need now, really, is the PID system, which will be tiny, 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 which is just 2 of you. Not the lure, the you. Thank you. Lovely. Do we need one for pit? No, that'll be fine. 1 for altitude... 1 for... Actually, yeah, we will need as many as I thought I did, so that's me making a mistake. I know, a huge surprise. A new roll. You are nothing, actually. You can just sit there and be replaced with something in a moment. So, don't really have enough time to think about this too much. So, for altitude, let's say 100. Let's just say 100. 100 sounds good to me. Just stay as you are for now, all nice and default. The default normally works, honestly. It's only when you start really wanting specific things and you've built in a weird way, which you kind of have, which you start messing around with all these settings, which one day I will do a tutorial, at least that's the goal. But for now, that's fine, and then 1 for pitch, and that will be it. You, testing +1, that's fine. In fact, we don't even need to do that this early on, because we haven't changed anything, but I just like doing that. Slight change of plan for some really simple dodging. What we're going to be doing is using control blocks rather than PID. You can use both or one or the other. But either way, we're going to be using control blocks on really aggressive settings to keep the altitude at 100. This way, it's going to overshoot every time it goes below and every time it goes above the desired altitude, which of course is 100. This will make it bob up and down. It's going to look awful, but we've kind of just kept that now, haven't we? We've kind of just assumed it's going to look terrible, and you are minus... Oh god, it's going to be terrible. Okay, go! Okay, with absolutely no power. This is not being powered in the slightest. You can see in the bottom right, we still have 320 or 320. What we can do is increase the motor drive. Now, if we do with just 1, yep. That's fine. Then I want to add a small rotor blade in the center, which will have the always up option. What's that called? Always up fraction, right? Yep, the always up fraction we could put here, and that will act as the stabilizer. You can actually have always up on all of these, which would make it so it simply won't sink, but it can cause issues down the line. At least I found it. People do heavily disagree with me there, though, so maybe that's just me being weird. I am more than open to that. I mean, it flies. Yep. Take that, Amazon. We're making delivery drones first. So next up, we need the roll mechanic. Also, I'm realizing this is becoming way too much of a build video at this point. Oh, I wanted it there. But this blade's in the way. I mean, I could just knock out that blade. It would just look... No, it looks far too weird. Nope, nope, nope. Even for me, I just can't stand that. I am sorry. It needs to be more uniform. Oh, I wouldn't make a good orc, really, would I? Guess we could have 2 on each, but that's going to be annoying as well. We could even have it in the center here, but obviously that's less effective. The further away, the better. Or we could just have it on the bottom instead. Yeah, that'll work. That'll be fine. I mean, I'd rather have it on both, but just having it on the bottom's just fine. So you're fine being a front thruster. You need to become roll left. You need to be roll right. And you need to be thruster reverse. Now, I'm going to remove the altitude PID, which I forgot to remove a moment ago. I'll turn off all of those for a second. Do I have 2 rolls set up by mistake? When did I do that? I mean, it'll make absolutely no difference because they're both set to the same thing, but I don't know. I just don't like that. There we go. Now we have 1 roll, 1 pitch. Yeah, we need to mess with those settings. Maybe not. Considering this thing was just flipping over a second ago, I mean, you can see the thrusters occasionally firing, trying to keep the peace. You know what? Maybe this will be okay, especially with the internal rotor. Again, the less the better, because if we have a lot of spare power, we can actually add shields to this, which will be ridiculous. Here's something I really wish I checked a little bit earlier, and that's these. There we are. The extra land rigs. Well, it turns out these lovely little things aren't actually harvesting resource as fast as the resource zone they're in. The main one is. These 2 aren't. So let's do this. There we go. There we are, the material's actually going down now, so we're going to have far more material here. We'll just use these as basically spawn points once the enemy comes for us, which I'm surprised they haven't still, honestly. I mean, I'm happy they haven't, but I'm also surprised. For some reason, losing some frames here as well, probably because we just spawned these in and now having to load all this land. There we go. Lovely material. Now, back to building that drone. Well, this'll do for now, so we don't actually have long left before the first hour strikes, which I believe is when other factions might also declare war on us. We're already at war with the Just Win Gypsies. I'm just curious whether we'll get any others. If we do, then we do. If we don't, then we don't. Here's hoping we don't, honestly. Let's do it like this, just to protect that a bit. Looks a little bit on the odd side now, though, to be perfectly honest, because before it looked so normal. Also gave us a little bit of material storage as well, so that we can use these as transport drones sooner rather than later. Ugh, that looks hideous. Nope, 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 let's change this. But yeah, really basic weapons, and how I've got them set up is that I have them on a very slight delay. Fire! Very, very slight. They do drop for a second before then flying off. We should have enough ammo for a couple of volleys before we run out completely, and then it's going to be very low DPS, but that burst fire of a couple of these very cheap drones should be enough to kill maybe even small tanks. You know, though. Oh, wait, no, I was going to say, I don't like how they bounce on the floor, but they do have a one-turner element, so they should face the target, then go off. Right now, they're just firing into the ground. Well, in terms of raw functionality, we are definitely there. It works. I mean, it can go into combat mode, it has very basic armor, its ammo is all nicely tucked away underneath it, so, I mean, it's vulnerable, but hopefully won't hurt the rest of the vehicle. It's fast enough, and it just works. Under 4,000 resources, stupidly cheap, ugly as sin, all definitely there. Really hate how this angle is, though. The funny thing is, though, watching the PID, it looks like it thinks it's flat. Which is definitely the case, because if you turn off everything, it still angles out a little bit.
Warm up and fly with fleet.
Maybe I need to work on the PID a bit. I think I do. And here we are, lovely. Okay, so what should happen is once we get close enough, very, very soon, you should steal from this. You both on 1? Yep, you should be on keep 0. Yep, you should be keep on all. Fantastic. So the drone just grabbed the resources. But while I'm here, I may as well just make the second drone. And then we're going to do the same at the other location, so we can make a couple of extra drones before the fight happens. Now, any changes I make to the drones before the fight, I can just retrofit, so it's okay that we are making an outdated model. I just really want the resources as soon as possible. We have 4 drones at the main base, and we have 1.5 at the 2 smaller bases, so soon we're going to have a grand total of 8 already, which is really good. Now, I need to make some final changes. I don't like the fact the missiles are firing down. It's going to make them less reliable. The only thing I can think of is, if we're higher up, they still have a chance to turn around a bit more, so there's more chance of them going towards the target. The other thing is, we don't have enough ammo, we really don't, so I think ammo processors, or a little bit of internal ammo, is going to be needed. I love the idea of these hooks and chains, but it is just a bit silly, isn't it? I mean, even for me, it is a bit on the derpy side. There's quite a few things I'll change, honestly, but for now, let's just change the easy stuff. We don't actually have that long. Drones are now flying at 150 rather than 100, and I've changed it from just altitude to height above sea/ground. So yeah, we're way higher up now, so this should give the missiles way more chance to activate properly. Oh dear. And we're back. Yeah, that's going to be fine. That's going to be just fine. Not the most graceful thing, so with this very weird PID, is that going to mess up the missiles? That is definitely going to mess up the missiles. We have less than 5 minutes, though, to fix this, so I don't think we are going to be able to fix this, so this is something we'll have to fix later. Because I can only assume that the Dustwind Gypsies are still waiting to the 1 hour mark. I mean, what else could they be doing? We're at war, but then they've not really attacked us. That time it did work. I think the missiles will be okay, just the odd one's going to get trapped. It needs to be more flat and less, well, less that. The 1 hour mark has now been hit. Your camp is in the way. Excuse us, vagrant. Your little camp is right in the path of our tank battalion. We are on our way to crush the Dustwind Gypsies beneath our treads, and do not want to slow down to go around your little junkyard. Please relocate, or we will have no choice but to roll over you. You are now at war with the Onyx Watch. Shinies! Oh, look at all your shinies, no rust on them at all. You have so much and we have so little. Maybe you're wanting to give it to us. No, don't get up. We'll come get it ourselves. Worst voice ever. Really? More? What would you guys sound like? Okay, so sadly, the game just crashed as I was trying to set stuff up. Thankfully, I saved, and all the enemies are still the same enemies. But I did manage to save something in terms of, how I think the Lightning Hood should sound.
Innovation requires sacrifice. We, the 13 sages of the Lightning Hoods, find your unique breakthroughs in science and technology intriguing. We would like to study it, but find no reason to offer you money in exchange. Some would say that great innovation requires sacrifice, and in this case, it will be your sacrifice.
So, the Dustwind Gypsies are definitely waiting for the hour mark, even if you declare war with them early. So, what are they sending? 2 Sand Vipers and 2 Sidewinders. Well, we don't need all of our drones for that, and we are now at war with 3 enemies. The Twin Guard, the Onyx Watch, and the Dustwind Gypsies. This isn't going to be easy, especially with the Lightning Hoods. The Lightning Hoods, not only are they friends with the White Flyers, they also have lasers. which will be very good versus our drones. Oh dear. Okay, everyone, turn around. We are friends. Oh, hello, Onyx Watch. How are you? Oh, man, this is going to be bad. So the enemy have two wisps. Okay, well, that is certainly something. Make sure we put in all of the drones. That would be fantastic if we could. So, we're going to win this if the initial volley is enough to cripple the target. If it isn't, then I don't know. I really don't know. Thankfully, the Dustwind Gypsies are moving very slowly, so really, we're only fighting off 2 attacks. This one and the Onyx Watch. The Onyx Watch are probably going to be easier just because of their reliance on cram cannons. Makes them a little bit less good versus things like this. Oh, I don't know how this is going to go. Any more drones hiding there? Yep, there's one more drone. That is a lot of missiles. They're very weak missiles, mind you, but that is a lot of missiles heading towards the enemy straight away. And missiles have been nerfed so much. The enemy still has the volume advantage, really. Well, it definitely has the cash advantage, my god. We have 9 of these, which means we're less than 40,000. The enemy are 40,000 each. Oh god, please drones, do your job. I mean, that looks pretty cool, you can't really deny. So what do the enemies have? I heard a laser. Okay, definitely have missiles. About as strong as ours, annoyingly. Oh, simple lasers. Loads of them. Oh god, that's gonna crush us if it gets close enough. Let's make sure you're all in combat mode. I think that would probably help, I imagine. Behold the drone shield! Come on, knock off that turret. Damn it. Nope, no turret destruction there. Oh, a bit of destruction at the back. I heard some internal damage. Of course, the short-range lasers are really short-range. They're actually called simple lasers, but I called them the wrong thing. Behold the swarm! Yes! Say goodbye to your turret, sir. You dare face the scrappers? We have wooden drones! And now we're out of ammo! How about that then, son? How about that then, son? Where did that come from? Well, you're down. It keeps on focusing on things too far away, that's great! You keep on doing that, lad. You keep on doing that, that's fantastic. Lad, son. No, 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 no. Drone, stop, stop, no. Get away from the shiny thing, thank you. Take out that thing's turret already! Dude, it looks so irritating for the enemy. Oh, just out of range! Okay, here's a problem. I haven't had a chance to set them to different settings like the Seekers, so this is going to happen. Oh, come on. Bit of mad laughter there. Oh, our damage is so low. Why aren't you focusing on things? Oh, oh, you did a bit of melting there. We've lost one of our rotors on that one. God, missiles are so weak now. Back the last time we played this campaign, this thing would have been dead long ago. Oh, looks like its turret's offline. Can it no longer fight? Stop! Yeah, it's offline. Its missiles aren't firing either. Okay, that's definitely a win for us. So because we're going to be fighting 3 enemies at once in this campaign, I think it's time to do a bit of sabotage. Hello. Welcome to the Legion, laddie. Where's your AI? Goodbye, Brawler. Hello, Stormtrooper. And just like the Nita campaign, I will not be using any of the Captain buffs or any of the faction buffs. They're just way too overpowered. I will, however, use personal buffs because it just makes things like this faster. Well, we've lost the first land rig. But at least we can have a quick look, see what the enemy is. The enemy attacks us and... Oh, Lord. I did not think I was close enough to be hit by that. Okay, so long-range mortars, essentially, is what it is. Ah, I'm gonna die again. Okay. So that needs to be rebuilt. That's fine, that's fine. The drones are at full health, though, and they are now on the way, so... They've also distracted the riding party from the gypsies, so if we can kill these, we can definitely kill the gypsies, and then we can start working on some proper defenses. We need turrets, we need advanced cannons desperately. There's a lot of stuff we need, because these aren't going to cut it. These are clearly... they're transport vessels with missiles. We do have a lot of them, though, now. Sentinel, Sentinel, Bison. It's going to jump off this. And let's turn them all back on. Oh, no. Please don't kill me on the way down. So these are the Sentinels. So 1 large cram cannon, then 3 small on the side, 2 small advanced cannons, I want to say? Cram cannon? Cram cannon? Cram cannon, okay, yep, cram cannons everywhere then. The Bison has much more of the stronger weaponry, that's another Sentinel, okay. Oh, that's better, now we can actually see the combat and not linked to anything. Not one gun blown up there, darn it. Oh, that was so close, just watching that one then. Oh, okay, so it's a one-shot kill if they do hit. We need... well, they're way faster than expected. But we need to kill them now. Oh, God, their armor is so heavy. So much little damage, but none's got through. The main weapons need to be taken out. Oh, Lord, we're losing them so fast. Oh. Well, you aren't dead. That's the important thing. You can still be a distraction. We do have enough for a couple more drones if we do lose this fight to defend ourselves, but... yeah, the missiles just aren't enough. They're just not enough. I love cram cannons, but I don't want to lose to them! Hit the main gun! They're so weathered all over. If we get lucky with 1 shot, maybe we can turn them. Okay, good. Your main cannon's barrel's gone. So now only the side guns are really firing. Oh, he got hit. And a bit of an explosion as well. Just keep on wearing at them. Eventually you'll expose something vulnerable. Then the fragments will do their job. That's perfect. I think the main gun may have just gone up completely. Yep, main gun on 1 of the Sentinels is dead. The Bison is still happily firing away, but it's got so far back, it's struggling to hit. Now watch it prove me wrong. Aha! Oh, come on, friendly fire! Darn it, that would have been awesome. 1 Sentinel down. Oh, come on, Wooden Legion, I believe in you. You terrible little bots. What I should have spawned in is some Seekers. There's the funny thing, the Seekers are ready. I just wanted to build something different. Plus, these are actually cheaper than the Seekers, and they do technically have more firepower. It's just... missiles are so weak. Couple of injured drones still flying, which is nice. But yeah, what I need is, similar to the Seekers, Drone A, Drone B, Drone C, all to have different altitudes and stuff. I didn't have enough time to add that. I know how to add it. I'm not a terrible builder, I promise. Slow death by 1,000 cuts here. How about you all focus on the Bison just to move out? Because right now you're so clumped up. If 1 good shot gets near you, it's just going to kill all of you. That was way louder than all the other noises in the game. What was with that? Sadly is... oh, 1... yep, 2 damaged. 1 is actually officially dead. Sadly, with the weapons these guys have, you can't actually pick a target. That's the problem. Why didn't you swap targets? You guys can swarm. You're swarming right now. Swarm over there. Oh, for the love of self-harm. Stop! Missile? No. Oh, look, they're dancing. How sweet. You know, I still think we're going to lose this because of how stupid they've been, and it's my fault. I just didn't have enough time. It's not even difficult. All you need to do is change the 2 control blocks so the minimum and the maximum are different to every other one's minimum and maximum by at least 10, and then this doesn't happen. On the upside, the really random movement they've now got is proving really difficult to hit with cram cannons. Oh. Can you just die, please? At least I think the drones have proved themselves. It's just... they're not finished. The tiny amount of damage they do against the bison is so funny. The bison is way more expensive than our entire group, and although it looks like the bison is going to win here, with only 2 drones still firing, we did well. For our cost, we did well. Look at it try. What? What? Damaged in enemy territory. We're going to win. Oh, that seems cheesy. I don't like... Well, that happened faster than expected. I was actually going to surrender then. I was thinking about, oh, to surrender, that seems dumb. Well, there we go. Still got enemies left, though, if you recall. So, drones. Let's heal up what you've got left and grab as much as you can as well. Let's see if we continue. Now, it looks like we're not harvesting as fast as this thing's growing, but the fact it's stable on 999 means that it's perfectly getting just as much as it's taking. If we jump on here, we can showcase this. Ooh, or maybe not. Maybe I am wrong. I'm actually hoping I'm wrong, because it means we've got a little bit more resource we can steal. Now let's have a look. I mean, look, it's... No, yeah, clearly it is perfectly balanced. Well, let's get a bit of extra resource, shall we? Because we sodding need it. We managed to defend against that little attack. Just. And now we need some resource.
Listening. Moving out. Moving out. Moving out. Moving out.
Just grab everything you can. Hopefully you have some resource still to spare. Not enough over there to make a drone. Oh, the enemy's coming already. I think I'm... Oh, God. I'm going to lose both land rigs, aren't I? How expensive is the land rig? 2,600. I don't know the best way to deal with this. Okay, we're just going to lose the land rig and use this time to get the drones back. Then we'll rebuild the land rig. Sorry, land rig.
Moving out. Moving out.
Okay, got all that resource. Yep, okay, so we have at least 3 drones currently online. That's wonderful.
Moving out. Moving out. Moving out. Moving out. Moving out. Moving out. Listening.
Don't really have time to do the whole separate settings thing, but hopefully we have enough time to get back to defend against the enemy. The enemy aren't particularly strong, so it shouldn't be too bad. I don't think we need the full group to beat them, because that initial burst damage should be enough. Hopefully. Well, we've managed to get quite a few of them back up. In fact, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got 8 of 9 back up now.
Moving out.
Huzzah for cheap units. Hello there, Dustwind. If we beat you, then I'm happy enough, even with the loss of our 2 resource harvesters. Because we're versus 3 enemies. This is going to be a difficult campaign. And I think building in the campaign was fun, but let's never do that again, because the game isn't balanced around that, and it's really sodding stressful.
Listening.
What we really do need is some advanced cannon fire very soon. So what I think I need to design in the editor, which I think will be the next thing, is a light vehicle, maybe 5,000-6,000, similar to these, with a very small advanced cannon and maybe, again, some missiles. I'm not too sure. We'll see. I don't want to rely too much on missiles because that can get boring as well, obviously, so... Oh, That's water. Oh no, please don't say it's going to do that thing where everything falls through the ground. It kind of did. That one bounced. Goodbye. Dustwind Gypsies, everyone. The actual starter faction. 2 enemies down before we could even see what was going on. And then... yeah, I think we're going to be just fine versus the Dustwind, honestly. Boing. Haha! Dolphin missiles! Behold the swarm. Okay, that was better. I only saw one thing even take damage, and I think that was friendly fire. That was better. Still lost the Landrig, though. I did just equip one of our drones with a healer. So if we run over here quickly...
Moving out. Moving out.
Come on, come on, come on, swarm. Since I can't remember which one of you it is. There we go, Landrig is coming back online. And the Landrig is back online, and we took some resources which it had harvested, because thankfully the enemy apparently didn't steal that. Yay! Ooh, why are you not running? What's going on? What's wrong? What is wrong, my friend? Yeah, why aren't you harvesting? Have you moved? You can't move, you're a building. Well, that's, well, this is gonna look a bit stupid, but... stretch! There we go. Sure, that's fine. This looks really, really bad in so many ways. Does it really matter, though? We're ever going to see this thing again? Probably not, but still. There we go. We need fuel as well. This thing still wants our fuel, which is really annoying. Wait, did you not steal... You guys are meant to steal the Landrig's resources, you know? Not all of you. Not all of you need to go back. Just one of you.
Listening. Moving out.
The good thing is now, as well, they are fast enough
Moving out. Moving out.
that we can do things like this. We can quite easily have just one going back and forth the resource, and the others can stay here ready to help. Okay, with that though, I'm afraid I really am all out of time for today's video. That was a ridiculous start, and now we are fighting a war on 3 fronts. What I think we need to do is just focus on one faction and just go for them, just as fast as possible. Either the Gypsies or one of the other two. Honestly, I think the biggest threat is going to come in the form of the Lightning Hoods, so I feel like that should be the main target. Just defend against the Dustwind and the Onyx, and try to push east as soon as possible. Just add some laser defense, make some quick vehicles, and just hope we can kill them fast enough. So, with that, if you have enjoyed the video, then of course, likes, favourites, shares, comments, all that good stuff, helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that From the Depths is a series you wish to see continued in the future. We're back in the ashes of the Empire. Oh my god!